Bloating can be the most frustrating thing in the world and can literally drive you crazy. So what can be done to counteract abdominal bloating, and what are some potential causes and treatments to counteract this state? What's up guys, my name is Lucas and today I'm here to discuss some potential causes and treatments to reduce abdominal bloating and the discomfort that you feel following eating a meal. Ultimately, what I'll do is break down some potential triggers and causes. I'll be outlining those, and then I'll also be discussing some potential treatments and modalities to counteract bloating. So for those of you who are brand new to my channel, my mission is to bring you guys the most cutting edge health information that you'll struggle to find on Google. So please do me a favor and like this video, hit that subscribe button below, and if you have any questions or comments throughout the video, leave them below as I do my best to respond to each and every single one. The information depicted in this presentation is purely for informational purposes only. Please consult your healthcare professional before making any changes to your lifestyle or routine. This is not medical advice. So ultimately, we need to first define what is bloating. So bloating can be defined as a sense of gassiness or a sense of being distended, or like a feeling of fullness in the upper or lower abdominal area. So when we have a look at the Rome 3 criteria for functional bloating, it is characterized by the following: recurrent feeling of bloating or visible distension for at least 3 days per month, the onset of symptoms at least 6 months prior to diagnosis, the presence of symptoms for at least 3 months, or insufficient criteria to establish a diagnosis of irritable bowel syndrome, functional dyspepsia, or any other functional gastrointestinal disorder. Now let's have a look at some of the potential causes of bloating. The pathophysiology of gas and bloating is very complex. However, we need to understand the composition of our gut microflora or gut bacteria, the type of gas production, intestinal transit, intestinal propulsion, and sensory function within the GI tract. There are many potential causes that could be contributing to bloating, some of which I've described below. Obviously are not exhaustive. There are many potential causes, but I wanted to outline some that may be applicable. Consuming salty foods combined with excess liquid, hormonal imbalance. For example, when women are coming up to their menstrual cycle or menstruation, they may notice an exacerbation of their bloating, and that's got to do with estrogen imbalance. In addition, we have late stage heart or liver disease that can also contribute, and some other causes include chewing gum. Chewing gum can actually lead to excess swallowing of air, and that can lead to bloating itself. Smoking, gulping air while eating, so some people actually eat with their mouth open. I'm definitely a culprit here. I've done that myself many times. And in addition, we have drinking carbonated beverages such as San Pellegrino or some other bubbly soda waters and things like that, using a straw, and also poorly fitted dentures as well. In addition, we can see that certain types of food can actually trigger recurrent bloating episodes. So for example, processed foods. Some people are very sensitive to gluten, to dairy, to soy, to egg whites, to egg yolks. There are many potential food intolerances or allergies that can contribute to bloating. We also have certain types of medication. It is well known that certain types of antibiotics can wipe out beneficial gut bacteria. That can lead to small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and therefore a lot of the symptoms associated with IBS, such as bloating and gas. In addition, we have intestinal or dysbiosis. We have celiac disease. We also have peptic ulcers that can also contribute. We have abdominal motility disorders, so disruptions with serotonin signaling in the gut. Bear in mind, guys, 90% of the serotonin that is produced is in our gut. So there are many other causes there, and ultimately we need to try and address it from the very root cause. So here are some potential fixes to counteract bloating. So obviously the very first one is to ensure that we're actually chewing our food properly. Many people tend to, put the food in their mouth. They might take 2 or 3 bites and then just gulp it down. Unfortunately, the body isn't fully equipped to tolerate that degree of inefficiency of breakdown of the food in our mouth, and that can therefore lead to abdominal bloating, upper abdominal bloating. In addition, we want to avoid drinking large amounts of water or any sort of liquid with our meals, as that can dilute stomach acid and therefore impact our ability to break down food. We also want to ensure that we eliminate certain food triggers. So be really aware of the certain foods, or pay close attention to certain foods that may aggravate your bloating, not only 1 to 2 hours after the meal, but perhaps the bloating arises 12 to 24 hours after you consume that certain food group. Some other fixes are increasing stomach acid, which I'll explore very shortly. That's going to be the main solution here. And in addition, we also want to increase pancreatic or pancreas exocrine function. I'll be exploring that very soon. And then we also want to reduce pathogenic bacteria. The most important aspect to correcting bloating is to actually support the production of stomach acid. When your stomach acid is too low, as shown in this diagram, it interferes with the proper breakdown of food particles, and this increases digestive distress and disrupts nutrient absorption, which then can also lead to bloating. Unfortunately, if we are constantly eating food without sufficient stomach acid, this is going to affect our ability to, break down these foods. And then we're going to be getting undigested food particles in the small intestine, which can lead to bacterial overgrowth in the small intestine. So what can be done to increase stomach acid? I did dedicate an entire video on this specific topic, how to increase stomach acid, but I'll go through my top 4 ways to do that. So the first one is to use a herbal extract or supplement called forskolin. Forskolin extract has been shown to stimulate stomach acid production. You'll see a link to these in the video description below. In addition, you also want to increase bitter greens before each meal using something like rocket, consuming rocket salad or arugula salad, or some bitter cabbage just before your meal can actually stimulate the bitter receptors at the back of the tongue and in the stomach to actually secrete more stomach acid. In addition, we want to consider incorporating decaffeinated coffee or coffee itself, but decaffeinated can also work well. This contains bitter principles, which can also stimulate the production of stomach acid and help with stomach acid production. However, if somebody is low in iron, they want to be avoiding coffee or decaffeinated coffee with their meals, because coffee can inhibit or block the absorption of iron. And finally, we have artichoke extract. I'm a huge fan of artichoke extract. We can use this to counteract deficiency in bile production. So it can stimulate bile production and also help with stomach acid output. And that can help with a lot of the bloating that people complain about. So you'll see a link to artichoke in the video description below. Finally, we have increasing pancreatic digestive enzymes. So this is increasing pancreatic exocrine function. This is really important to understand that we have actually 2 aspects of pancreatic function. We have the endocrine portion and the exocrine. The endocrine actually governs insulin release, glucagon release, and somatostatin, which basically regulates blood sugar. But then the exocrine function that often gets neglected is responsible for secreting digestive enzymes such as protease, lipase, and amylase. So there is a way to actually increase the body's production of these protease, lipase, and amylase. And by doing so, it's going to help to break down proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. So to increase or boost pancreatic exocrine function, we can use a supplement known as pancreas glandular extract, which can be used before meals, 20 to 30 minutes before meals. You'll see a link to pancreas glandular extract in the video description below. But basically what this does is it contains peptides and compounds to actually stimulate the production of the body's own protease, lipase, and amylase. So it's going to boost pancreatic exocrine function, leading to better digestion, breakdown of food, and even better blood sugar stability as well. So guys, I hope you learned something new in this video. Obviously, bloating needs to be addressed from multiple angles. There are many potential causes of bloating, but I thought I'd share some ones that are quite common. If you want to check out my other social media channels, follow me on Instagram, check out my podcast, my newsletter, and my website. You'll see links to those in the video description. So thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.